Um, First and foremost, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I am a high school senior who experiences seizures. Um, Honestly, the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't really know how to link between videos and whatnot, or how to transition. Um, but but yeah, first and foremost, I want to tell you like exactly how the experience of having a seizure feels like, at least from my perspective. It's probably a bit different for every person that experiences seizures, but yeah, I kind of want you, as the viewers, to know what it feels like. Well, for me personally, whenever I have a seizure, first things first, I'm just doing whatever I'm doing in the moment. And, yeah, and then suddenly I'll just start feeling like a headache. I'll possibly get black spots in my vision. My gut just feels completely awful. Um, Most of the time, I'll just like lie down, sit down somewhere, something like that. In some instances, that's just not a viable option. So I try my best to cope with it. Yeah, there's not a lot that you can do about that. Um, but yeah, I'll like lie down, sit down, heck, I'll even be walking. Next thing I know, from my perspective, everything just like fades, so to speak. For instance, during my first seizure, like my very first seizure, I was sitting playing a game with a friend of mine. All of a sudden, I felt very lightheaded, dizzy, disoriented. Um, Parts of my vision were just going out to the points where I'm in my seat. I do a full 90 and land on the floor. I wake up, it's been like 5, 6 minutes since that happened. Um, but I find myself in a completely different area than well, to where I was. So instead of just me being like 90 degrees, like right next to the chair, I find myself from the chair over to the closet. And I think that's where I'm probably going to start off then. What exactly happens when you have a seizure? Um, a quick Google search will show you it depends on the type of seizure, but I'm just going to go with the generic type seizure rather than just like seizure. But, yeah. Uh, First and foremost, your body may or may not be conscious during the seizure. But even if your body is conscious, you're not really able to control anything. It's just like you're in the back seat, so to speak. You're not really in control of yourself. Otherwise, if you're unconscious, debatably that's a bit more scary because you have no clue what happened. But yeah, on a like neurological level, what happens is the individual neurons in your brain, like all your synapses, they're firing too quick for your brain to like keep up with all of them, usually from like sensory overload. which is why people have like photosensitive seizures or photosensitive epilepsy. It's because they are receiving too much like light and like changes in light all the time. That, ooh, it got dark. Yeah, but yeah, it's because of all the light that goes through. But it's not just that. You could be experiencing like multiple different textures at once in your body, just, or it could be like you're just hearing specific frequencies of sounds, smells, tastes, even, or it could be a mixture of all the above. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's internal. For instance, I'm not sure how often this one occurs, but caffeine. Um, Caffeine can, in some instances, and I do believe it's happened with me once, can cause your body to like be in a hyperactive state, which is pretty much why caffeine is caffeine. It's just quick boost me up. But yeah, the sensation of caffeine throughout your body, it can lead to you having a seizure. Now, this ain't being said to, discourage you from drinking caffeine or whatnot. It's just as a mild caveat. Though, yeah, it's highly unlikely that caffeine will give you a seizure if you aren't already diagnosed with like seizures or epilepsy or anything like that. But it is still possible. Unlikely, like really unlikely, but possible. But yeah, your body is basically, you're out of control. You're in the back seat. And if you're doing the generic sort of seizure that most people imagine, you're flopping around, you're convulsing, your body is just like maybe repeatedly doing motions, like gripping your hands, your teeth just doing this little number. If that doesn't get gift, I don't know what will. But your body will be doing rhythmic movements, or just like slightly jostling around and whatnot, until eventually either A, you have a emergency medication like shoved into your mouth if it's been prescribed to you, like it is for me, or B, your body just like runs through all the actual data that your brain has collected and then just like, all right, all this backlog is done, you can go now. And yeah, that's when you either A, wake up, or B, you're just napping to like sleep off the sensation of running a mile in like 45 seconds. It's no fun, it's no joke, it's just how it is. Your body just can't cope with it very well, aside from let him do this, or her. Anyway, let them do this. Once it's done, you can just go on your way. It's pretty much how it feels like. But when you wake up, if you're like napping or something like that, or if you're like, coming to from the seizure, you're in this state of distortion, panic, drowsiness, mostly drowsiness and panic. But there's really just not a lot that you can do about it. It Just is what it is. Honestly, there's not really a lot that I can say here. I don't have statistics on seizures or anything like that. I just know how it feels like firsthand experience. It's it's no fun. That's honestly a part of the reason why I made this channel. It was so people that are terrified like I am, or people that actually want to know what it feels like on a psychological, maybe even a physical level, of what it feels like, can just hear it from an actual person rather than from a textbook or from just like, website on Google. It's just is what it is. There are some things that you can do though. If you know what some of your triggers are, there's the generic, just avoid them at all costs. If you don't, think back to things that you're doing in the moment and, effectively try to figure out what you think started that, whether it be like visual, um, hearing, taste, touch, smell, all of that. Just try to figure out what exactly caused that. But if you can't, try to figure out your symptoms that you had right before the seizure. Because if you can figure out those, then you can let someone know that's nearby you to, make sure that you don't cause, bodily harm during your seizure. Which, honestly, I think might be the next video that I post on here. Just a generic video on what exactly to do if you see someone having a seizure. It's not often that well, it might be. Depends on the part of the world that you live in, and how many people that you see on a day-to-day basis. But in general, you're not going to see a lot of people just have a seizure. I'm not going to be begging for likes, subscribers, or anything like that, simply because I just want this to be a face-to-face. A form of interaction. Might be a bit one-sided, aside from the generic comment section below. No, that isn't me begging for comments or anything like that. It's just saying if you do want to talk to me, or if you do want to actually hear what I have to say, or what you think might be important on this form of subject, then by all means just place a comment below. I'll do my best to do some quick research into the topic, as well as give you my first-hand experience if I do have experience with it. But yeah, all in all, it's just a chat. That's all it really is. It's just me talking to you and seeing what you guys have to think. All I gotta say is, it's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not in any way enjoyable. It's reckoning. It's strangely enough, humbling. It's humbling to know that no matter how well that you try to keep your life in control, there is some aspect in it that you can't control. A part of it that, strangely enough, just drives you. It probably isn't your fault for having the seizure. It may have been part of a medical treatment that you had, or just a synaptic overload that you didn't know, or it might even be hereditary. But there's just not a lot that you can do about it. There have been studies into seizures. In fact, there are tons of nonprofits that actually will just do research into seizures and epilepsy and just things of the like. One that I'm most particularly fond of is the International Bureau of Epilepsy. Basically a nonprofit that gives whatever money it has to different nonprofits around the world. All of which are generally drived at the goal of fixing epilepsy and seizures as a whole. But yeah, all in all, it's just completely forgot what I was about to say there. But all in all, it's just not a fun experience. I'm sorry if this hurts anyone in any form or fashion, but I do want you to know what it's like having the seizures. Again, that's why I've made this whole channel. It's so that way people can just ask questions. I'll do my best to answer from first-hand experience and a bit of research. But yeah, my next video is most likely going to be about the statistics behind seizures. But until then, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, good morning, good afternoon, good night. My name is Michael, and it was good talking to you.